Thank you very much, everyone, for attending today. Apologize, had to get the microphone ready here. Hope that you are doing well. Today is December 6th, and the weather here in New York is pretty stable, about 30 degrees. And check in with our bodies, see how we're doing this morning. Do we feel any stiffness, any tightness or fogginess in our head? Actually, this morning I feel very good with my mind and body. This has been improving a lot, especially as you improve your practice and sitting in the evening as well if you have time. A good time to sit in the evening is around 4 or 5, or not too much before sleeping, but about maybe 7 o'clock would be fine as well. But usually 4 or 5 is the best time in the afternoon to do that, if you have time, of course. And then also doing evening service as well, or evening chanting. Those are all essential in helping regulate one's mood and mind, that it doesn't become scattered with lots of thoughts. You may have many things to do. I have been working on papers for school, and it's very easy then to sometimes get out of sorts or overwhelmed with how many projects you have to do. However, I believe in, I've experienced that through mindfulness, we can be able to separate experiences, such as when you're with your family or doing your spiritual practice or whatever, that you're doing them. You're not doing them simultaneously thinking about something else that you need to be doing. Because again, that takes away the enjoyment of actual experience. And I think lots of people live that way, that they're not actually there enjoying or experiencing their life. They're thinking about what they need to do next, and then when they're in the midst of doing what they need to do, they're off somewhere else worrying about something else, or even creating worry and angst where there is none. That is a real serious illness that is spreading and challenging lots of people. This is the basic concept of suffering in Buddhism, is that we are removed from our experience of life, and therefore just filled with things that are illusions. We're making up stories. We're not able to focus on what we want to do. We feel as if we're floating, etc. But with practice and study and awareness and through mindfulness, we get closer to the state of samadhi, in which in samadhi we can reconnect ourselves and bring all of those aspects together, that we see and experience the world through our authentic self, our Buddha nature, as well as understanding all the intricate parts of that, such as our animal nature, our human nature, etc. And even using the teaching of the 10 worlds, all of the aspects that we have, as I was stating before, of anger, etc., we are able to understand and integrate that into our life properly. Not say that I no longer need that, or to be adversarial to that emotion, because that actually makes it strong. Have you ever been angry and you're trying to push out that anger, you're trying to stop that anger, and it just grows. It becomes annoyance and anger, and it lingers, right? Where anger is a part of our mind, because as we may see with a lot of negative emotions that we have that we consider to be negative are actually very important because they alert us to something that is going on um, with us. They alert us that there's some kind of conflict going on. And so we should be very thankful of that we have these bells and whistles in our lives, but being able to integrate them, as we were talking about integrating the shadow and understanding it properly through this mature way of seeing reality, we can be able to understand what those alerts mean and be appreciative of them instead of adversarial. Also, today, I want you to think about one thing I continuously am thinking about, and just another aspect I'd like to add to our practice. And this is something that Kageyama Sensei was talking about recently in small clips that he puts up, which I might start doing. He has so many ideas that are really useful and helpful for people. Is the idea of how to integrate into our practice the niyama, which are the regulatory aspects. Because, as I've stated before, in order to sit properly, it doesn't just happen by deciding to sit down. There are lots of preparatory, and even in the Makashikan, there are 25 preparatory things to practicing meditation. One of the important aspects in the eight limbs or stages of yoga is that the first is yama. That is that we follow the precepts, because the precepts allow us to interact properly with society, with other people. Okay? Especially in Sangha, that's essential. And then the niyama are the regulatory aspects that we regulate our sleeping and eating. And one of the things that was brought up there was a movement called microbiotics in the United States. Um, in the maybe the 70s, 80s. I believe it's the Kushi family. Um, One of the simple ways that they were talking about, because if you have digestive problems, pay attention to the foods that you're eating. Not only just, okay, I'm eating steak or I'm eating just potatoes, but what are you putting into it? What is additional, etc. So you're looking at one thing, and but you're looking at the ingredients, etc., and seeing how they react to your body. This is also the idea of Ayurveda, watching the body. And that one of the simplest ways you can help in the digestion, because digestion is, of course, essential in your practice, is chewing 100 times. And also the incorporation of properly cooking and using brown rice. You have to be careful with brown rice because if it's not cooked properly, it can cause stomach problems because it's a very has lots of nutrients, etc., but has to be cooked properly. If it's not cooked properly, it can cause issues with your stomach. But the big thing to take away from that is actually chewing your food. It's also a kind of mindfulness because food is a very important part of our lives, and actually can be a very happy part of our life, a very fulfilling part, enjoying and experiencing food, but also knowing that food is used for our practice. So we have to integrate all the aspects of our life properly in order to have correct meditation. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's do a couple stretches. We turn right, left. You raise your hands around a couple times. Shoulders backwards. Move your shoulders forwards. Lift them up. Tight. Drop. Again. Tense. Drop. Okay. Our heads. Again, using our body. Opposite way. Forward backwards. And towards the angle. Along with your leg. Other side. Good. All right, let us prepare for meditation. Please sit up straight. Let's do our 3 purifying breaths. Breathing in for 3, holding for 5, exhaling through our mouth for 7. Let's breathe in quick. Hold. Exhale. Good. Second round. Hold. Exhale. Imagining all negativity and stress coming out. Every part of your body. Last round. And exhale. Let's make sure our posture is correct. Okay. Can kind of move left to right. Back. Okay. Find that. Leave it where it is. Wokai join. Keep close to your body. Tuck in your chin. Ears over your shoulders. Extending through your head. Closing your mouth gently. Putting your tongue at the roof of your mouth. And now we're going to use, you can either observe your breath or use a mantra. We're going to use the mantra, the way I teach it is using the mantra Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. As we exhale through our nose, this allows us to stop, and we inhale through our nose. We observe, stopping and seeing. This is a very integral part of Shikan. This is what it actually means to stop and see. We stop our thoughts so that we can observe our mind and be able to balance ourselves and emotions. Please begin with the sound of the bell. Allow your mind to become concentrated. us release our concentration, bringing our attention back to our body. Let us observe how our mind has changed as we become more concentrated, our emotions in balance, our body light. Let's just sit in this state for a moment so that we can become familiar with it. Meditation has a lot to do with being familiarity with these states of mind. And in many ways, we may not believe that they exist, nor understand that they exist. So let us sit in this for a moment more. And let's begin moving our fingers, toes, our body gently. Bring our hands together, generating heat over the eyes. Shoulders. Goodness. How do you feel? Today I'd like to just spend a few more moments on that we were focusing on specifically establishing a practice and overcoming some of the obstacles. So one of the solutions that we can create, the most effective way to becoming and overcoming procrastination and reluctance and resistance to practice is just to do it. We say, as it is, just do it. So again, this is another mindfulness practice that we don't allow all of these external noises to come in, or internal noises in our mind to come in and distract us from doing what we need to do. Nothing works as quickly, as effectively as diligence. This is one of the endeavoring the aspect of the six paramitas that is essential. Simple act of consistently sitting down and placing your attention on the meditation object day after day and practicing is the essential first step from which everything else in this flows. As we move through these stages of practice, this is how we begin, and this is always the first step. Then, once seated, you must train yourself gently and without self-judgment. That is very essential. I'm a good practitioner. I'm not a good practitioner. No, this is again distracting thoughts. We're here for mindfulness and samadhi. To actually meditate rather than engage in some more entertaining mental activity that is challenging. Notice that I said train yourself, not force or discipline yourself. Force, guilt, and willpower won't produce a sustainable practice, not least because of the negative emotions they stir up. Again, no one likes to be forced. We have enough things that we're forced to do during our day. This should be a practice that as we progress, as we experience each day. That's why we check in at the beginning and check in at the end. But we see the benefits of practice. Hence, I look forward to this. Waking up early or preparing myself or preparing the equipment itself. Many people want to sleep in, and yet those thoughts do arise in myself. However, there is a counteractive action that because of my positive experience, and this is why having this positive experience of non-judgment and engaging in practice, one naturally becomes looking forward to practice. So I understand when I practice and when I don't, the effects. And again, since our goal, what the immediate goal that most people are seeking is this kind of peacefulness, awareness, and actual progression and enjoying and experiencing one's life, I look forward to my practice. It's very important. Training yourself means working on your motivation and intentions until the simple act of sitting down and meditating flow natural. Then you repeat those activities every day until they turn into habits. Once you start practicing on a regular basis, you'll be surprised how quickly meditation becomes easier and more gratifying. That is essential in changing our mind. Um, and in endeavoring may seem like it's a discipline or pushing oneself, but actually it's not. What it means is to have the correct mind to then know what we should endeavor at. Um, that's what this idea of why we do the scanning, why we see the before and after. We are aware of that. Oh, yeah, I feel much better. Um, I don't feel forced to do this. This is my choice, and that actually I look forward to it because I feel better. Now, it may take some ups and downs, but again, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And then, again, you don't want to despise based on those negative or distracting or pushing thoughts. That meditation becomes another chore that you say because I'm a Buddhist or I'm a Christian or whatever your tradition is or belief, this is what I must do. That is not the way to practice and get benefit from your practice. Practices that we have to understand and enjoy and see the benefit of what we do. That is very essential in correct motivation, as we see in the Eightfold Path towards liberation. Okay? So another thing is that before you do anything, you may have tons of things to do that you just let that all be and just sit down and meditate. Don't have to make everything so fancy, don't have to be so complicated, simple. Sit, practice. Okay. So I thank all of you for spending time with us today, and I look forward to our next practice. Have a wonderful, enlightened day.